when I was at Michigan, there's guys that we had that they were just about that life. You got to have guys like that you trust, guys like that, when your quarterback gets hit a little bit late, they're going after that defensive lineman, they're going after that safety who hit them late. It doesn't have to be guys with a record. It can be guys like Ndamukong Suh. He's one of the most intelligent Lion draft picks ever. Extremely sharp individual off the field. But when he's on the field, he's ready for that action. You don't need the LeBron Jameses and the Carmelos running around shaking hands and talking about good shot. And, man, you bust my ass on that shot. The hell with that. You need guys that are looking at guys that are friends like the enemy.
There was a clear message that the Lions really valued the wide receiver in this draft. Many people believe they got the best wide receiver in this draft.
You get 12 interceptions. You have 11 interceptions all of last year. You finished 30th in sacks all of last year. You don't get to the quarterback. You allow teams to extend drives on you. You allow teams in the fourth quarter to wear you down because your offense can't score points. That had to stop. If you look at what the Lions have on offense, they said, we have enough. We have T.J. Hockenson. We have these wide receivers. We have one of the best offensive lines in football. We have Jamal Williams, who started more games for DeAndre Swift last year because DeAndre Swift was hurt. But when he was there, when he was in shape, when he was healthy, you saw the athletic ability that he has. The jump in the Green Bay game was ridiculous. Now you add Jameson Williams. One player that fast. It turns your offense into something different. Turns your offense into something special. Something that you can watch. Something that you can get behind. Of course you got to go full defense. That's where you're going to stop some teams. That's where you're going to give your offense a chance to be in some of these games. Like you said, they still got a long way to go, but they're doing it the right way. Build that defense up first, but they did address the need of that explosive wide receiver, Jameson Williams.
We talked about how the Lions, I believe 7 of their 8 picks were captains in college.
Yeah.
And it just kind of reminds me of what Bart Scott said a couple of days ago. Did you see what Bart Scott said?
Can't wait.
No. He said,
I know Bart.
Can't win without guys that have a couple of felons.
This is true.
Can't win without a guy. Can't win. I'll give you the exact quote.
Can't win at all.
You have to get some tough guys, and everyone can't be choir boys.
Yeah.
When I was with the Ravens, we had to make sure that we had at least 2 people on the team with a couple of felonies just to make sure our street cred was right. When we had to go in these back alleys and have some of these dog fights, sometimes you have to have some people that's not no choir boys. That's why you have a strong locker room to hold them in check.
He's 100% right. Look, when I was at Michigan, let's start there. When I was at Michigan, there's guys that we had that they were just about that life. Guys had, different things happen to them as they were growing up in high school. They were raised a certain way. They brought a different level of energy. You got to have guys like that you trust, guys like that, when your quarterback gets hit a little bit late, they're going after that defensive lineman. They're going after that safety who hit them late. Guys on offense, you got to have the offensive lineman that want to be that guy. Guys on defense, you got to have the aggressive defensive types. Now, don't help the quarterback up. Don't help the other team up. The hell with those guys. You got to have you a couple horses like that in your stable who, they may have some things on their record, but it might not be their fault.
That was Ndamukong Suh when he came here. He changed the whole outlook of this team. We all of a sudden became a team you really didn't want to play. Yeah. Especially on defense. You didn't want to see that team come out there. I didn't mind him with Evan Dietrich Smith, with the little kick here and the little push down here. I didn't mind all of that stuff. I really didn't. I like it.
And that's the other thing about it. It doesn't necessarily have to be guys that have records. Now, obviously, when they use that language, that rhetoric, they're joking-ish. It doesn't have to be guys with a record. It can be guys like Ndamukong Suh. Ndamukong Suh is one of the most intelligent guys I've met. Yeah. He's one of the most intelligent Lion draft picks ever out of Nebraska. Extremely sharp individual off the field. But when he's on the field, he's ready for that action. He'll step on your face mask and do it. He tried to get Stafford. He said, F you. You saw that. But you need that, though. You don't need people that want to be. You don't need the LeBron Jameses and the Carmelos running around shaking hands and talking about good shot. Man, you bust my ass on that shot. The hell with that. You need guys that are looking at guys that are friends like the enemy.
You need Lambeer.
Yeah.
You need the bad boys.
So
I love that freaking team, and I wasn't even in Detroit.
Bart Scott says this on an ESPN radio show, Fitz and Freddie. Freddie and Fitzsimmons, I guess, as it were. And so the hosts gave him an opportunity to walk those comments back. And he says, no, he just kept going in. The funniest sign I ever saw in my life was 52 plus 31 equals 10 to 20. It was Ray Lewis and Jamal Lewis equals 10 to 20 years in prison.
Oh my God!
Terrell Suggs beat a dude with a stop sign coming out of Arizona State. You got to have a couple of guys like that. We can clean them up and get them counseling, but you have to have a couple of goons. You definitely have to have some goblins.
Brett, you got to get us Bart Scott.
Got to. I'll call him after the show. He's absolutely right.
I love that.
He's absolutely right, though, and that's why I used to hate hearing that the rhetoric was with Jim Harbaugh in terms of picking Michigan players. It was like, oh well, in terms of out of high school, oh he's a Michigan guy. This is a Michigan guy. You don't know if he's a Michigan guy. You don't know if he's a Michigan guy. My dad went to Kettering High School, one of the worst public high schools in the history of Detroit. 94 and Van Dyke. You didn't know he was a Michigan guy, but what you did was you brought him in, you taught him the Michigan way. Bo taught him the team. He learned to be there for his teammates. He learned that there's a time and a place for the BS. There's a time and a place for the BS. And then when he was done, he was a Michigan man. Same thing with the NFL. Like, clean them up a little bit and then make them a Detroit Lion type of guy. Fix the stuff off the field, but whatever.
Hey, Tony D on YouTube wants us to go over to UDFAs, the undrafted free agents. So let's run them down. I'll start it off here. Kevin Jarvis, Michigan State offensive lineman.
Of course, there'd be somebody from Appalachian State on there.
Khalil Pimpleton, Central Michigan wide receiver. Demetrius Taylor, App State defensive tackle. Obinna Eze, Texas Christian offensive tackle. Greg Bell, San Diego State running back.
Watch out.
You like Greg Bell?
No.
Okay. Corey Sutton, App State wideout.
Corey Sutton.
Cedric Boswell, Miami of Ohio DB. Zion Obeid, Ferris State offensive lineman. There was a good story about him. Here's your guy. Derek Deese Jr., San Jose State tight end. They gave him $100,000, by the way, to sign. Nolan Givens, Southeast Louisiana tight end, and Josh Johnson, Tulsa wide receiver.
Two things. One, you can see what the Detroit Lions are trying to do in this draft as well, whether it was during the draft or whether it was the undrafted. It's tight ends.
Yep.
Last year, T.J. Hockenson got his butt whooped at the line of scrimmage because what you do is you put defensive ends on him at the line of scrimmage, you put linebackers on him at the line of scrimmage, and they just beat him up. He could never get into his routes, and you saw it wore on him towards the end of the season. I think he missed 4, 5, 6 games last year. Now you add tight ends to help him in the run game so he doesn't have to necessarily go out there and block and catch. But the pick I like is Josh Johnson. Tulsa was a good –
The last one. Look at that.
I know. That's why I was waiting for it. Tulsa was a good football team last year. You see the offensive tackle was taken by the Cowboys. Although I don't agree with the pick, I would have taken Tyler Lindenbaum if I would have been the Dallas Cowboys. Nonetheless, they took Smith. He's a good player. They were a good team. Watch out for Joshua Johnson.
Somebody on the YouTube chat also says, I like the fact that McCarty and Kosa rolled with Robert. I mean, just getting back to
There you go.
the Bart Scott situation. I mean, he's not wrong.
Look at the Cowboys of the 90s.
I mean, the Cowboys of the 90s.
The White House.
Look at the Miami Hurricanes, right? I mean, they did a 30 for 30 on the convicts versus the Catholics, right?
Mama.
The Catholics versus the convicts. I mean, what?
You name a squad.
I'm trying to think of a champion that didn't have a.
You name a champion, whatever sport is in, and we could tell you who the goons were. We can tell you who did the dirty work. Sometimes it's not even guys that just come in to do the dirty work. Sometimes it's the stars that do the dirty work. Just depends on what team.
I love Bart Scott. Funniest sign I ever saw in my life. 52 plus 31 equals 10 to 20 years in prison.
Oh, man.
Gotta have some goons.
Where's that white suit?
Oh, my gosh. God bless you, Bart Scott.